Hello, this is Blind Man Walking 2. Welcome to the first edition of This Week in Disability News. It's actually occurred at the very end of last week, I think, where there was a video surfaced of FDR using a wheelchair. It's about like an 8-second video. It was made the news all over the place. I watched it on the internet and so forth. And so, it got me interesting. It was such a big event because that, although it's widely known that FDR had polio, it's not widely known at the time that he had polio. And so apparently it was kept under wraps. My mother, who will be 80 soon, talked about that with me. She said, no one ever knew he had a disability. So with my mother's comment coming out and the video surfacing, it made me think about some other things. For instance, how many other presidents have had disabilities? And so put that in the search engine and found a website called the Ability Center of Greater Toledo, and they came up with it. They had an article on the website talked about disability trivia. It says presidents with disabilities. And so when I was looking at the site, I saw of our 44 presidents that we have had, according to them, 9 of them have had disabilities. And so I thought I would go through them and give you what the disabilities were according to this website. And I'll begin with the most recent president first that they list. Bill Clinton, our 42nd president, wears hearing aids and is hard of hearing. Ronald Reagan, 40th president, had hearing impairment. John Kennedy, our 35th president, had chronic back pain and a learning disability. Dwight Eisenhower had a learning disability. Franklin Roosevelt, our 32nd president, had polio, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Woodrow Wilson, our 28th president, had a learning disability. And also from another website, the Washington Post, actually, I saw where it was from the February 7th issue, I believe, of 2007, that he had a series of possible strokes in his second term as president, which was covered up, and this basically only came out at least in this article that I'm aware of 2007 from the Washington Post, and it was something that was very much covered up. And proceeding with other presidents, Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, had depression. James Madison, our 4th president, had epilepsy. George Washington, our 1st president, had a learning disability, and according to once again the Ability Center of Greater Toledo, he had trouble spelling and problems with grammar. And so I was thinking about this information and how, of course, the focus has been recently on President Obama, and that he is the first non-Caucasian president, and which I think is a good thing. However, there hasn't been any focus on the number of presidents. There have been at least 9 of them who have had disabilities. And so, as I have thought about this, there could be some reasons for this. One, presidents want to be seen as strong, capable individuals, and having a disability I think is publicly perceived as not being something that makes you strong, makes you capable. As evidenced by the example of Woodrow Wilson I listed, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had some very noticeable disabilities that were covered up by their administration. I mean, let's think about this. Would FDR have been reelected or even elected had everyone known that he had polio? Okay. Even though he made tremendous contributions to the United States and to the world. Maybe that wouldn't have even have occurred had his disability been made public at the time. Woodrow Wilson, and trying to get the League of Nations organized, would he have been able to accomplish this and be seen as a strong leader with the information about his strokes being made public? These are things to think about. And as much as I agree with that we need to be proud of our diverse culture, and that we have a non-white president now, I think we need to also realize that our presidents, many of them we have come to give them an aura of greatness, also had a disability. And so I guess that's where I want to leave you for this week. Once again, I thank you for watching me, and if you have any comments or questions, I would be glad to hear them. This is Blind Man Walking 2. I'm going to keep walking, and I hope you keep walking too. Thank you.